Okay, yesterday we introduced kind of like the three building blocks, I guess, of geometry. We talked about points, lines, and planes. Today we're going to build upon that. This is still the same section, so we're going to build upon that. What did I just draw a picture of? That is a line. But what we're going to do to this line today is I'm going to take it and I'm going to give it end points. So the arrows are gone. That tells me that this line does not go on forever. And therefore we're not going to call it a line anymore. Or you can use the word line, but it is now a line segment. With a piece of a line. So it does not go on forever. And in fact, it has two things right on the end that are called end points. Because it ends in both directions. So we had a line. Today we're going to have segments. And we're going to also...
I thought the long line is, and I didn't see the other one.
Yeah, can you fill out your planner?
Yeah.
Thank you. We're also going to talk about if I took this line and I only took part of the line. Or maybe I took this line and I just took this part of the line. These are two different examples of the same thing. These are called rays. So we were talking about lines yesterday. Today we're going to add on segments. We're going to add on rays. Real life example. Can anybody give me a real life example of a line, kind of, that seems like it goes on forever, doesn't have to go on forever, but kind of? Real life example. Line. Okay, I'm going to give you one, and then you give me a different one. A road. Like a highway. Kind of seems like it goes on forever, right? Can somebody give me a different example of maybe a line in real life? Hayden?
The equator.
You know what? The equator, yes, except for when I zoom way far out and the equator looks like this, it's not a line anymore, is it? That would be a circle at that point. But if I'm close in, like if I'm just in, I don't know, Aruba or wherever it is, then yeah, it might seem like a line. What's something else in real life? You guys are going to have to do a real life scavenger hunt sometime soon, just so you know. We're going to start thinking about this stuff in real life. What about in this room? Is there anything in this room that you could say, that kind of like a line? Cricket? Are we afraid to talk to me? Oh my gosh. There's a wall. What do you call that? The grout or something? Yeah? Does that work? What else? Let's make something else in here. The window? Okay, yeah. Sure. All right, how about a segment? A little bit easier. Let's find a real life example of a segment.
Yeah.
Okay, Liam. Yeah, you grabbed it right away. He was like, this segment. Ruler? I think the ruler works perfectly for a segment. Is there anything else that you guys could think of that works as a good segment? Oh, my pencil? Yeah, that's a pretty good segment. There's definitely an endpoint to each side of that segment. Or this, okay. All right, now here's the tough one. Maybe. I don't know. I guess lines were tough. Here's the tough one. What about a real-life example of a ray? Something that starts and then only goes one direction. A ray. somebody say
Light.
the sun? What light?
Like,
Doesn't the sun have like rays that sometimes come down and you're like, oh, that's so pretty. But yeah, light. It's a flashlight. So if I turn on my flashlight, it like starts here, and then the light beam goes that way. Or I can take my ray and I can go over there if I want. Still has the same endpoint where my hand's holding it. The flashlight is a really good example of a ray. So a flashlight would be a perfect ray. The important part about that flashlight is where your hand is holding it, that end point. That's the important part about that flashlight. So that's what we're talking about today. Here's some examples. Right here is a line, and we know how to write the line from yesterday's lesson. Okay, to write a segment, here's an example of a segment right here. To write a segment, it has two endpoints. You have to use these endpoints to name the segment. And to make that more obvious, I'm going to even stick a little point somewhere on there. I'll call it point Z. But over here, I have segment is written as segment AB, or written as, and then we have a symbol with a segment above it. Notice how it doesn't have the little arrows? It's just the segment part. So the first is segment. The segment AB is written as AB with a little segment above it. You can also write AB as BA. So we could take the segment and go from B to A, or we can go from A to B. You cannot use the Z when you name segment AB, because when you name the segment, you are saying the endpoint. So you cannot use the Z. That is not an endpoint. The next one is a ray. The ray AB, and then we can write it as AB with a little ray drawn above that. So it has one arrow. That is telling me, when I look at AB, that is telling me that the endpoint is at A, and then it passes through B. That's what the order of A then B tells me. We write the endpoint first. I can have another point in here. Ray AB would still pass through Z, so that would be fine. If I do add that other endpoint in there, I could also name it AZ. So if I said AB and AZ, these are the exact same rays. AZ and AB are same. They're the same ray. Because if you think about a flashlight, if my flashlight is at A and it points this way, it's going to go through Z. It's going to go through B. It doesn't matter what the second point is that you say. You're just telling me, where's my flashlight? Start at A. And then there's an example right underneath that. If my endpoint is at B, then I cannot name it ray AB. I have to name this one ray BA. So ray AB, the endpoint is at A. Ray BA, the endpoint is at B. So that first letter is the endpoint every single time. And when I say first letter, the way you read, what you come to first, left to right. And one more thing, it always points, if you see every place that there is a ray written on this paper, it always points from left to right, right above those letters. It always points from left to right. Even look here, do you see how the ray itself is going to the left? But I still wrote the B first. Okay, and then the last one is point C lies on the line AB. If point C is on a line with AB, if they are collinear, Then we have two rays. We have CA, which I have different colors I can highlight and show you. I've got CA, and then I have CB, CA and CB, and together these make a line. If that happens, if you have two rays where they share that same endpoint, they go opposite directions, they're called opposite rays. I've had a cough for over a year, and we're still trying to figure out why. My life has been fun lately. I've had it since March 2018, is it? Alright. Here's a diagram. Let's see what we can answer. How many different line segments are pictured in the image above? So we're talking about segments. So we're talking about pieces of a line. Doesn't have an arrow. I want you to count. I don't want you to yell out answers. I want you to count. How many segments do you think are pictured there? I just highlighted EJ, which is the same as JE, so I don't need to write both of those as listing all the different ones. EJ is one of them. And then some of us only got 4, but if I'm looking at EJ, I could also look at EF. So that is a different segment than EJ. So that's what you were missing. So EF could be one. And then what else would you use from this little area right here that I was coloring on? What other one could we use here? JF. Right. And then from there we're going to look at the other line, and HJ, HG, and JG. So there's 6 total. Question C has a little typo in the words. It should say list 3 other ways to name segment EJ. 3 other ways to name segment EJ. Hint, I already gave you one of them. JE, yeah. So we are talking about the segment from E to J, which I have in like the teal color up here, if you can tell the difference between that and the green. Probably should have used way different colors. But in the teal color I have from E to J, same segment, JE written differently. There is another way of writing it differently. Everybody know? We did a bunch of it yesterday. What do you think? It's not going to be the word line, but yes, we're going to write a word, but it's not going to be the word line. What are we talking about right now? You're going to write segment, EJ, or segment JE. So that would be the other ways. I don't know about you. I personally prefer the ones with the symbols, but that means we just have to learn the symbols. Otherwise, you'd be writing a lot. Question D, list 3 other ways to name ray. That is a ray. If you look carefully, it starts and then it has an arrow on one side. Ray EJ. So we're looking at the picture. We need 3 other ways to name ray EJ. I'm going to take a yellow highlighter and I'm going to start at E and I'm going to go through J forever and ever and ever. EJ. So I want to list different ways of writing that same ray. So they know a different way of writing ray EJ. Wait, Jordan? It's wait, say that again?
You just would say.
Okay, so if I do that with a ray though, that means I'm starting at J and going this way. See how that's going to be a different ray? James. EF with a symbol. Okay, so you see how James said E, F. F is still passing through that ray, like the ray is still passing through that point F. It doesn't matter if I say J or F, as long as I start with E. So EF is a good answer. with the symbol. So how also can I write it? Liam? With the words Ray, EJ, or Ray, EF. True or false? Another way to name EJ is to call it JE. Ray EJ and Ray JE. True or false, Jordan?
False.
False. Why?
Because it'll go the other way.
Because it's going to go the other way, right? The first, what?
If you would have flipped it, could you flip the arrow too, it would still be going.
Are you saying when you write the symbol?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I were to write JE and draw the arrow this way, would that be okay is what he's asking? That's a very good question. As much as I want to say yes, the answer is no. And the reason why is just we always write rays with the arrow pointing the way that we read. That's just like how we do it. Somebody decided one year, this is how we do it. So we just don't write them that way ever. Okay? So what you do is you always list the endpoint first. So this is false. The endpoint is listed first. Endpoint must be listed first. Or you could say these go different directions. They're two different ways of saying why. All right, the next one. List 8 different rays. There's 8 of them that you can list. Try listing 8 different rays. We've already listed some of them. There's 8 different rays from that picture. Otherwise, what you would. I'm going to put all my answers with symbols because I don't like writing the words out. Now, I like to give you guys these papers to write on rather than just watch me do it or have it in a book where you can't really write on it. So please take advantage of that. You saw me coloring all over this. You can do it too. And if you have erasable markers, then they erase. And you can keep changing what you're doing. Does anybody have erasable markers? Just me? So I'm going to start. I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to start. Zachary's going to start. Zach, can you tell me a ray from this picture? And actually tell me one that we just didn't talk about 100 times. Because I'm going to highlight a new one. Ray H, and then what'd you say? G. Okay, so that's going to start at H and go to G. Yeah, that works. Did anybody label that same ray but labeled it a different way? Backwards, as in, who said that, by the way? Oh, what do you mean by backwards? Okay, so that GH would be a totally different ray, which is our second answer, right? GH, see, you can erase this. GH would start at G and go this way through H. So both of those are answers, different answers. Is there a different way of naming? I'll write it here. Is there a different way of naming GH? That is the exact same ray as GH, but it's not named GH. What did you say, Sophie? GJ, yeah. You could name it GJ because it passes through J also. So those are both acceptable answers. Okay, so far we said HG and GJ, or you could, sorry, you said GJ or GH. On the answer key, I put like both answers so you guys could check. Let's see, we already said EF. Is there any others we already said? No, that might be the... Oh no, we already said EJ. Is that you? What else we got? Help me out. Yell out an answer. Let's do this. Are you okay?
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to tell me if you're not okay.
Yeah.
Aaliyah, give me an answer. A little bit louder, couldn't you? J-E, is that what you said? Yeah, J-E is one. What else, guys? J-E, J, oh, Tiffany? F-E is a different one. Or you could have said F-J. F-J would be the same thing. Somebody else said one over here. No. Maya, you got one? You got one. You can list them. G-J is G-H. That's the same one there. We said that one. Give me a different one. This one's E-F. What? H. Oh, yes, but that wouldn't be different. That would be the same as this one. So, let's see. We've done HG. We've done GH. We've done
JF.
JF is a new one. Okay. I know. Now we're like, which ones am I missing? JF. We did JG. No, did we do JG? We didn't do JG. JG. That's a new one. JG. Did we do JE? We did JE. Did we do JH? We did not do JH. There you go. All right, last part about this. What happened to my? Oh, there it is. Opposite rays. So opposite rays have an endpoint, and they go
in opposite directions. They make a line. Opposite rays. Derek, you got any? Are you different page? Oh my gosh, what is happening? No, what is happening? That's not good. Yeah, we're still in FE. So those are not to like have the same endpoint. So they should have the same letters starting. Tiffany, can you give me an example of that? JH and JG. Everybody look at JH and JG. What the heck happened to my computer? It looks like it's still recording.